I'm going to continue with my book, or with my series on Plato's Republic. This is on book 3 of the Republic. Again, this is the Bloom translation. Has lots of really good notes and stuff in it, and it's really lucid and clear. So yeah, I'm going to continue with that, and let's talk about book 3 and the notes I've taken on it. So when I read something, I take notes on it, and I think about it. And if I do a video, then I basically read from the notes that I've taken. In the third book, he's basically continuing with Socrates. He's basically going on with his discussion about this republic, this city, or this state, whatever you want to call it. But it was born from his desire to define justice. And in the fourth book, which I plan on doing a video right after this about, is where he really gets to that point. The third book is you have a lot of stuff in it, which is about about these classes of people. And it's a lot of discussion about these guardians, these people that are going to protect the city, and it's going to have a theory of education which is going to prevent them from being scared, prevent them from having fear, in order that they can occupy their role via this principle of specialization, which was taught to me, and when I took ancient philosophy. Basically, Glaucon says, for instance, that do the unjust often have a better way. And he talks about the correct love between a boy and a man. Socrates says that there should be no erotic element or element of intercourse. So it's like a way that this is better. It's better that there is no, and that in a boy's life there is the best thing is to have the role of a older man, not erotically, but in the matter of education. Now, mind you, back then, that happened. That pedophilia did actually happen, and Plato did it. But here is what he's saying is that if it's proper, there should be no erotic element. And the question comes along is love in its pure form. How does that relate to education and how one is educated? The rulers is a new class that is brought in here. It's the top of the guardians, the top of the class of guardians. And there's brought up here the controversy of who should be the rulers, who should rule, who should govern the state. Socrates says that we should tell them a lie. Tell them a lie to prevent them from having this, because if we have rulers, then there's going to be conflict and issues over who should rule, who should rule. And one will be like, oh, no, I should rule, and then the other person will be the same way. But it's like a myth that is told, a myth that in each person a certain metal is mixed in their soul. So some people had the metal in their soul of bronze and iron. And that's of the lower class. next would be silver, which is higher, and then gold is the highest. And people who do have the gold in their soul are the people who are to rule. So this is some sort of a authoritarian government where people don't have personal freedom. Personal freedom is not valued here, especially in this idea of justice that Socrates is going for. In this book 3, what goes on, and also it's a lot of specification about this city. So that's basically what it is. A lot of specifying about the city and figuring it all out in order that Socrates in book 4 can come along and fulfill his point. So the question of personal freedom, doesn't come up here too much here. It does later on, but personal freedom in this theory of justice is not much valued. And overall, the big thing in this book is, while Socrates is kind of formulating it out and figuring it all out in order to fulfill his point, the whole idea here is that the good of the state, the good of the people of the state as a whole, overrides the good of other people's individual considerations. So it's not really, it's a virtue ethics, really. It's virtue ethics and virtue it's a virtue politics also. It's not consequential. The idea of the good here is not consequential. It's not really a consequential idea. It's more of a virtuous idea, because the good is, as I said, is near the top of the forms. And all other virtues and all other forms aim to achieve this. So this brings upon the political question as of should it be the case that in political action that the good of the whole should be considered over the good of individual consideration. And having read this, I already know that I'm not really on board with this. I'm not really big on this, and I think that it's not that great, and I think that this whole republic being based on the principle of specialization is kind of, a wrong way to start, and I think I'm kind of really, I really have never really been on board with this at all. So that is a good thing to kind of think about, though. And if we are to kind of achieve a good of the whole, then it definitely wouldn't be upon this, because there would be conflict with this. Anyway, I'll continue with a different video on book 4, which is where he comes to where this whole theory of justice does come into fruition. And I've made a new playlist. I've made a new playlist with where all of my previous videos on Plato and all of my Plato videos recently are all in that one playlist.